Hello. My name is Maura, and there's two big things to talk about here. One, it's that I love books, and then second, it's that I love Taylor Swift. For those of you who don't know anything about Taylor Swift, she just re-released her album Speak Now, Taylor's version, on Friday. Because I talk about books a lot, there are certain couples and certain book tropes that I think just fit certain albums really well. Today's video, I'm gonna be showing you books based on Taylor Swift eras. I do want to say that I don't have every single book that I'm mentioning in this video because it's a library book or I left it in home in Maryland because I didn't have enough room here to bring them all, so I only have like 3 books physically. I've still read all of these books. I'm just gonna dive right into it. Finding a song for debut was honestly really difficult, but I can explain why I picked this book for debut. As self-titled debut album Taylor Swift, I picked the book The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. Hear me out, okay? Songs that I connected to this book are Picture to Burn and Should Have Said No. The Dreamland Billionaire series, I should say in general, are about 3 brothers who are billionaires. So in the first book, The Fine Print is focused on the brother Rowan, and it says Rowan is determined to renovate Dreamland, their family theme park. But then he comes across the beautiful and talented Zara, and she awakes inside him a side that has long stayed dormant. Staying under an alias, scorching kisses, and a chemistry that will burn them both to cinders, life is complicated to say the least. As it has stated in here, texting under an alias. So you can imagine that when she potentially finds out about said alias, she's gonna be a little mad, right? I connected it to Should Have Said No. It opens up saying, it's strange to think the songs we used to sing, the smiles, the flowers, everything is gone. Yesterday I found out about you, even now just looking at you feels wrong. I thought that matched perfectly because they kind of had like a workplace enemies, lovers kind of trope. I wouldn't say it was really strictly enemies, but I think there was definitely tension there. Eventually, when she started becoming more comfortable around him is of course when secrets come out. Should Have Said No is a perfect match. Picture to Burn is kind of her being like, you know what, I'm here for work anyway, like who cares, I don't need to focus on anybody else. This next one was another one that was kind of hard to pick a book for, but for Fearless, I picked Normal People by Sally Rooney, and I picked my favorite song off of that album, of course, which is The Way I Loved You. I feel like everybody knows Normal People, either the book or the show. As simply stated, it's following Marianne and Connell from different backgrounds from the same town in Ireland, and they're weaving in and out of each other's lives as they try to grow up from high school and go to college and do their own thing. But they keep coming back to each other, and I felt like this matched The Way I Loved You so well. I feel like it's like the inverse of The Way I Loved You, where if you listen to The Way I Loved You, she's singing about like the sweet, nice guy, and then in the chorus being like, but I miss like the bad boy guy, and I miss like the recklessness and like how fun that was. I feel like it's actually the inverse for them, where they're with all of these people that are bad for them. I don't know why I'm quoting, like some of those people were very bad for them. Keep going back to the person that was sweet and took care of them and defended them, and I feel like that's the kind of relationship that Marianne and Connell had. Now this next one, I actually have the book with me, so I'm very excited. This is my favorite book ever, and if you follow me on my book Instagram, which I will have somewhere on the screen, you've seen me talk about this book a million times, but it's such a Speak Now book that I have to include it. Of course, I picked Icebreaker. The 2 songs that I picked for this one that I thought matched it the best were Sparks Fly and Enchanted. So I've already told you guys like a million times because I feel like I talk about this book in every video, but it says Anastasia Allen has worked her entire life for a shot at Team USA. She's a competitive figure skater, and a full-time college scholarship takes her place to the Maple Hills skating team. However, Nathan Hawkins has never had a problem he couldn't solve. As captain of the Maple Hills Titans, he knows the responsibility of keeping the hockey team on the ice and how that rests on his shoulders. When a misunderstanding results in the 2 teams sharing a rink and Anastasia's partner gets hurt in the aftermath, Nate finds himself swapping his stick for tight and one scary coach for an even scarier one. He fills in as her partner for figure skating, and it's very much like reverse Grumpy Sunshine. He just wants to prove how he is a good guy, and he wants to prove himself to her, and she likes him from the start, but she's like, I have to focus on my career here and focusing on figure skating. So I picked Sparks Fly and Enchanted because if I could give this couple a song, it's Enchanted. They're from the start very into each other. There's jealousy that comes in, but they're trying to stay focused on their careers. He wants to play hockey, she wants to figure skate. There's also hints of Sparks Fly. She keeps finding herself distracted by him, but she's like, I have to stay focused, I have to stay focused, I have to focus on figure skating. She's trying so hard not to be distracted. The next era we're in is Red, and for this era I picked The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book everybody knows about. I'm gonna give a brief synopsis for those who may have missed the wave of when this was popping off. Evelyn Hugo is telling a reporter her life story and everything that happened, how she made her career, leaving the show business, and then the 7 husbands that were in between all of that. The main key thing in this book is Evelyn's unexpected friendship and a great forbidden love. But I picked the song Red off of the album Red, but I feel like also Come Back Be Here, because like, I guess you're in New York today, I don't want to miss you this way. The lyrics from Red that I thought matched the best, which was touching him, but it would be touching her, was like realizing all you ever wanted was right there in front of you. Regretting him was like wishing you never found out that love could be that strong. Tell me that's not Evelyn and Celia. Oh, I was like, what book is this? I don't have this book with me, it was a library book, but I gave it 5 stars and I loved it. It was The Cheat Sheet for 1989. The song I picked is You Are in Love. So this book is by Sarah Adams. Oh, this book was so good. Okay, so it says, after a car accident ended her chance at becoming a professional ballerina, Brie changed paths and now owns her own dance studio with big dreams to expand it. One more rent increase could mean the end of the studio entirely. Then, as usual, Nathan comes to the rescue and buys the entire building. It says, a stubborn Brie is not happy about it and decides to rebel with a couple, more than a couple, tequila shots. Then her plan backfires as she spills her deepest, darkest secrets to a TMZ reporter. Mind you, the main character, Nathan, is a football player in the NFL, so he's got all eyes on him already. As one viral video later, the world thinks Nathan and Brie are the perfect couple, but before they can really talk about their confession, Nathan's publicist proposes a big opportunity that could mean financial security for Brie. The catch is that they have to pretend to be in love for 3 weeks. However, this is friends to lovers. Obviously, fake dating when you're already friends with this person and you're already very close and he's willing to buy a building for you. We know how that's gonna go. So I picked the song You Are in Love. You kiss on sidewalks, you fight and you talk. One night he wakes, strange look on his face, pauses, then says, you're my best friend. You knew what it was, he is in love. That is like, this is the anthem for childhood friends to lovers. This book, I haven't seen anybody talk about in like 2 years. The book is Neon Gods by Katie Roberts. I'm gonna reread this soon, and I also need to get the next books in this series. I picked Reputation for this one, and the main song that I picked was Getaway Car. Society darling Persephone, I'm not saying the last name here. Society darling Persephone plans to escape the ultra-modern city of Olympus and start over far from the backstabbing politics of the 13 houses. But all that's ripped away when her mother ambushes her with an engagement to Zeus, the dangerous power behind their glittering city's dark facade. With no options left, Persephone flees to the forbidden Undercity and makes a devil's bargain with a man she once believed was a myth. Hades has spent his life in shadows and has no intention of stepping into the light, but when he finds that Persephone can offer a little slice of revenge he's spent years craving, it's all the excuse he needs to help her for a price. This is forbidden love, fake dating. He basically wants to pretend to date for the sake of protecting her from Zeus, but also to get back at Zeus for revenge. But I picked Getaway Car because if anybody knows the story behind Getaway Car, it's about being in a relationship with somebody else, or having to be with somebody else in this case, and fleeing and going off with the next person that's gonna help them get away. They're just running so that she doesn't have to be forced to marry Zeus. When Hades finds Persephone, he's like, well, let's just like help each other out and just get revenge on Zeus. Such a good one. I love that book. I don't have this book with me, and it's at home, and I need to have it sent to me because I need to reread the series. But it is The Deal by Al Kennedy from the Off-Campus series. It's the first book. You cannot tell me that Hannah and Garrett are not the perfect lover couple. And for this book, I picked the song Lover, just especially the lyrics that say, we can let our friends crash in the living room, and then can we always be this close. This is the series that really kick-started my hockey romance obsession, okay? All Garrett Graham has ever wanted is to play professional hockey after graduation, but his plummeting GPA is threatening everything he's worked so hard for. Helping a sarcastic brunette make another guy jealous will help him secure his position on the team. He's all for it. They also kind of have a fake dating trope. Any guy in a book that's trying to hook up some girl with a different guy is gonna get jealous at some point. I feel like I picked Hannah and Garrett especially for this album and this era, more than just their own book, but because in the Off-Campus series, it's touching in on all of the friend group and all of the hockey team, really. The guys in it are like, we just want to have like a relationship with a girl that Garrett has with Hannah. Like, everybody admires their relationship and everybody wants to have what they have. And throughout the whole series, every relationship just gets compared to them because everybody can see how great their relationship is. Next one is Folklore, which is my favorite album. And I picked the song August to match The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. The Unhoneymooners is one of my favorite books, and it's another one that I've talked about a lot, so I'm just gonna get through the synopsis of my own brain. It takes place at a wedding first. Everybody gets food poisoning there except for the best man and the maid of honor. And instead of canceling the honeymoon trip, the bride and groom just say, you know what, you guys go on this trip. So they're like, please just go on the honeymoon. Everybody's sick. We can't get our money back. Just go please, and go to this trip to Hawaii. So they end up going, and they end up fake dating throughout because they're like, you know what, if we're gonna do these couples packages, we may as well pretend like we like each other. When they get back from the honeymoon, obviously their relationship has then changed, but they get back and there's all this drama and having to prove themselves to each other again, which is very much August, just because of August slipped away into a moment in time because you were never mine, that kind of vibe, you know? But that book is also just so funny, and the kind of relationship that the main characters have in that, it's such a playful enemies to lovers kind of book, where they're not really enemies, but they just like to irritate each other. It reminds me so much of like a teenage relationship where you just want to like piss off the other person so bad, and August is a story about teenagers. I have a library book, but I haven't returned it yet because I just finished it yesterday. Forevermore, I have Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This book was crazy, loved it, but the song that matches it perfectly is No Body, No Crime. This book, it says, things have been wrong with Mr. and Mrs. Wright for a long time. When Adam and Amelia want a weekend away to Scotland, it might just be what their marriage needs. They both know this weekend will make or break their relationship. But they didn't randomly win this trip. One of them is lying and someone doesn't want them to live happily ever after. This is a thriller mystery. I wouldn't say it's like too thriller based, but it's definitely mystery based. Okay, well I can say this because on the back it says Feeney weaves a murderously twisted little tale. So someone's gonna die. So No Body, No Crime. That's all I'm gonna say because I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah. Finally, we've reached the last era, which is Midnights. And for this album era, I have picked the series Addicted. This series I'm in the middle of currently, and I think this whole album really encapsulates the whole series because the album is about like sleepless nights where Taylor Swift was up writing at like midnight. This album is like the most raw her feelings have ever been expressed because it's like the middle of the night thoughts that are keeping her up. There's a lot of talk about anxiety. It reminds me of Antihero, Maroon, Midnight Rain, and Karma. Karma I'll get to because I feel like that one I kind of have to explain. I was really connecting this album with the first book in the series, which is Addicted to You, which is about Lauren Hale, who I feel like he's so underrated of the boyfriends in that series. Like everybody likes Connor and I am a firm Lauren lover, so Lauren Hale and Lily Calloway are both addicts. Throughout the first like 2 or 3 books, it's really focused on them and their relationship with each other, but also with what it is they're addicted to. Maroon for sure. I also think of Midnight Rain because of the line, he was sunshine, I was midnight rain. I think it's definitely something that would be from Lily's point of view. But then Karma, boyfriends are extremely protective over the girls. They're really protective over them, so I just think of the line Karma is my boyfriend, where people say whatever they want about Lily and her addiction, but she's like, you know what, and I still got the man that I got, so y'all can hop off. That was this video, book recommendations for you based on Taylor Swift eras. Hope you enjoyed. Here's a little book list for you. You've got like 10 new books, I believe, and I will see you guys when I see you. Bye-bye.